Hi, everybody. Bet you didn't expect to see me play this game again, did you? Honestly, I didn't either. But I had some unfinished business here, and it was just kind of eating away at me. I didn't really leave the Season 2 Feed the Beast series in a very good place. I kind of just trailed off and then stopped doing episodes of it. I'm playing in the Minecraft 147 Ultimate Pack still, because there's some stuff I want to do here before I try and move on and try some of the newer packs. I've talked about this a couple of times before. I'm not entirely happy with the current state of modded Minecraft. I feel like this particular pack, this version, was a reasonably well-balanced, good experience to have. And I just wanted to have that experience again. I wanted to play this game and do the same things that I did before. But I also want to get further because there were a couple of sort of lofty long-term goals that we never quite completed. The two that I'm thinking of in particular are to build a Galgadorian drill, which is a Steve's Carts thing, and also a fusion reactor, which is a GregTech thing. Although I guess fusion reactors several components nowadays. And I don't know, there's some drama with GregTech. Apparently it's not in newer mod packs, but you can still use it. But I don't know. A lot of stuff has changed. I just wanted to resume from this same version of this mod pack and get those two things done. So we're here in a new world. I'll give you a quick tour in a moment. Just want to talk a bit first. We're here in a new world. I've been playing in this for a little while, just quietly by myself. Got reasonably far along the tech tree. I have most of my... So this hilarious mess of machines. Yeah, this is my house. Like it? So obviously I haven't done a lot of focus on aesthetics in this world. Not nearly as much as the previous one. But I have most of the functional stuff up and running. So one of the reasons I'm doing this video now, today is currently May 2nd. This probably won't go up anywhere close to that day. I'm going to do a bunch of off-camera stuff and record little bits and pieces here and there and edit it together when I'm ready to have something to show. Yeah, we're not going to be doing a long-form LP like we did the previous time. Basically, I just want to get those two goals done and then sort of see where it goes from there. We'll reevaluate when the time comes. But anyway, let me give you a quick tour around this world, since I started anew. So I started right here. This is actually a taiga biome, I think. Pine forest, basically like taiga. And yeah, I built this little structure out of wood, replace it with glass viewers later. It's really nothing special. It's actually quite crappy. But I started putting down machines and just kind of expanded them little by little and ended up with this Tower of Insanity here. This thing you see up in the sky is the start of my new home, which I've always wanted to do a sky base. And I just sort of picked a triangular shape and laid it out with zinc and concrete and punched a few holes in it for things that want to see the sun, like these mirrors down here. And yeah, what I wanted to do here was show all the stuff I have down below before I move it all up here. I've already moved one thing up, which is my factorization ore processing setup. Pretty happy with how this works. Let's look at some of the details of it. So this is pretty much the exact same thing I had down below. I just moved it up and reproduced it and compacted it a little more. So one of the things I found, we set up something kind of like this in the previous world. One thing I found was that the mixer is actually completely unnecessary. All of the mixer recipes can be crafted just in a normal crafting table. So I have a fabricator here. This isn't actually fully set up for it. But if I put, like, say, dirty iron gravel here and then stuck it in here, it would all get mixed with water because this is connected to an item IO in a Zycraft tank down here. So that just keeps it stocked with water. So yeah, basically you'd come in, stick some... Let's give it a demonstration right now. Down we go. So you'd come in, stick some ores in your... Need to be babysitting these crops here because for some reason I'm trying to get industrial crops grown. Much as I've hated them in previous times, I just want to sort of have them, and there's some experimentation I want to do with them. So last thing I'm trying to get is red wheat. I have everything else. Right, so we're getting some ore. Let's just take like 2 iron ore. I have 2 iron ore. There we go. I've run 1 quarry in this world way out there. I'll probably show the hole in a bit. Not that it's all that interesting, but there's some stuff to talk about there. So if we take these 2 iron ore, put it in the grinder here, it will get ground up into gravel. I figured out the maximum range. I thought this was a square thing, but it turns out it's actually a circular radius that you have to lay out the mirrors. So we have our solar boiler here, solar turbine there, and factorization machines, as it turns out, can just sort of transfer power. Well, I'm not really taking advantage of that here. I guess I sort of am with the battery, but yeah, they can kind of transfer power through each other if they're just touching. You don't have to run a lead cable to everything. It's weird to me that that's not spinning. I don't know why it's not. But anyway, so we grind that down to dirty iron gravel. Usually I do a whole stack at a time. Put it in here and mix it. There we go. We get clean iron chunks and some amount of sludge. Stick it in the slag furnace. And there's a furnace heater in here, which is powering this, which is warming up this slag furnace, and a whole bunch of crystallizers. So what I realized was, since there's no way to speed up crystallizers, the way to handle that would be to parallelize. So we have several crystallizers doing the job here. And one of these routers, you know what? Did I ever? Yeah, okay, I did set this up. Yeah. So this router is the insertion point. So I would take my things to process and put it into here. It distributes them into all these other routers that are connected, which themselves put them into the appropriate slot. That's why that's not spinning, because this... What have I done? Yeah, I haven't actually used this before, in case you haven't noticed. This liquid duct is not going anywhere. Oh, I'm missing an aqueous accumulator. Okay, I need an aqueous accumulator in there to get water into the solar boiler to make steam. Okay. Well, anyway, so the battery managed to do its job. Didn't realize before, but there's this little display on the side of the block. You can see how much power it has. Okay, so I made some kind of strange choices about where to put those, but normally I'd have enough clean iron chunks in there that it would just distribute it throughout all of those crystallizers. Anyway, so that'll crystallize, and then we just pull them out and stick them in an infernal furnace down here, and we get the same result as we had in the other place. So that's what I've been doing with all the ores that are appropriate to process that way. That was a bit more long-winded than I wanted to be, so let's move a bit faster because, like I said, I want to record a little chunk of this and then move everything up there and record a bit more. Once we're done with that, then I can actually put this up as an episode. Infernal Furnace here, simpler setup than the other one. Sorry, Infernal Furnace. This is a Wrath Forge, that's what it's called. So I just stick an iron block here. Yeah, pull it up with the sticky piston, then it's out of the way of that stuff, so I can mine it safely without it falling into it. Have a turtle here chopping down trees for me. That seemed to be the simplest and most effective way to create a tree farm. So he just plants a sapling, waits for it to grow. It's on Zycorium soil, so it grows pretty quick. Then moves, chops it down, eats a piece of wood if he needs any fuel, and sticks the logs and any saplings he happens to get from mining the top leaf block into that chest, and sticks excess, or actually no, he doesn't interact with this chest other than pulling saplings out. These things pick up saplings as they fall from there. And it all works pretty well. It's not perfectly reliable, but it does a good job. I don't know how much Zycorium soil I have stacked up there, but it's quite a lot, so the trees grow pretty quick. And that one birch tree and one turtle keeps up with my needs pretty well. Blast furnace coke oven, nothing special about those, nothing interesting in the nether. I set up another scrap machine, basically the same as the one we had in the other world. There's nothing really... I guess one difference here is that we have a lot of recyclers that aren't extremely overclocked. They just have a couple of overclockers in them. These igneous extruders are making stone, which gets fabricated into stone slabs, just so we can save on the extruders a little bit. And I'm using routers to be a bit more efficient here. So yeah, a bunch of routers doing things that are reasonably obvious. So we construct the scrap boxes, put them into this dispenser, little bit of redstone wiring here makes it continually shoot things out as long as it has them in its inventory. And then they just get routed into these barrels. And it works pretty well. So that's gotten me a bunch of good scrap stuff. This was actually a very valuable machine to build because a lot of these resources are not that easy to get elsewhere. And you get just enough of them out of this to make it worthwhile. Anyway, so let's talk about this Tower of Terror right here. So, right, like I said, I started stacking up industrial craft machines, and then once I got to the GregTech ones that wanted big machine casings, I just sort of stacked them on top. So let's see, the Industrial Blast Furnace was the first one I did. Figured out a bunch of stuff I could do with sharing machine casings just to save on them. So this, it's a little hard to tell which is which. So Industrial Blast Furnace is right here, and uses these casings. And then I have my vacuum freezer over here, because the Industrial Blast Furnace needed some reinforced and advanced casings to be able to smelt tungsten steel. So vacuum freezer shares 9 blocks with Industrial Blast Furnace. Then the Industrial Grinder is just up here, and it's sharing, its bottom layer is the top layer of the Industrial Blast Furnace. Then its top layer is the bottom layer of my distillation tower. And those two share some stuff with the implosion compressor. So it's all just sort of a big mess of machines stuck together. But it works. And I'm pretty happy with it. Matter fabricator here with a lightning rod. It's not been doing all that great for me. I need some other more reliable power. One lightning strike only makes like 2 UU matter, which is good, but not great. I'd really like more than that. A whole bunch of miscellaneous generators over here. I don't have a really good power supply. I think this is the same nuclear reactor setup I used last time. One of the things I did that I thought was kind of cool is I actually have this farm over here. These are, what is this, Mine Factory Reloaded harvesters. There's also a planter that's, what the hell? That must be a lighting problem. Yeah, because when I built this thing overhead, I guess there's not quite enough light to support potatoes planted there, so they're just popping off. Okay, so I'll have to fix that. But yeah, we have some pumpkins growing here, potatoes growing here. Those get routed into... That's interesting. Sometimes the system's totally full. Where are... Oh, I know what's happened. Whoops. I've screwed this up. We need to do that. Yeah, there it goes. So those all get routed into this system, which is a bunch of industrial centrifuges that makes, I just got poisoned because I'm near a sludge boiler, makes methane out of them and uses that to power up these, which keep the industrial centrifuges going, and puts the excess into this tank. Now from that tank, I have a liquiduct going. These machines are all running off of some water mills that I have here. That's actually the same thing that powers up my my recyclers for my scrap machine. That's different. Okay, well, it'll fill those up eventually. Yeah, finding lots of problems with this stuff, but I guess it's mostly doing its job. But anyway, the excess methane runs over here to these gas turbines, and they go into my main MFSU here that I'm using for power, which is about halfway down. I should take out this tungsten before it runs out. Yeah, this is one reason I'm recording this now instead of later, because I really want to move this stuff, because I need a better power setup, and I don't want to set it up here. I want to set it up top there. So let's see, what else? I haven't done that much of Thumbcraft, just enough to get the essentials. I guess I've completed most of the research, but haven't really built much of anything. I'm not even wearing Boots of the Traveler or anything, just an advanced jetpack. MJ stuff over here, nothing really exceptional about it. It's all pretty normal, pretty much. I have some solar MJ going here. These mirrors create steam in this solar boiler, which goes to these two hobbyist steam engines. And this is just enough mirrors to allow each one of these to produce 2 MJ per tick. So that's a nice little boost that happens during the day. Then I have biogas engines, combustion engines, and a thermal expansion steam engine to help things out a bit. That's probably full, isn't it? No, not quite. Okay. Doing some bee stuff over here. I'm trying to be a lot less reliant on bees than I was in the previous world. But one of the things I really needed was titanium. And the only other, let's see, titanium. There aren't a lot of places to get it. The possible sources of it are, you can mine bauxite, which you can't really get anywhere else. You can make it with UU matter, but I want my UU matter for iridium, of course. Bees can produce it for you, and you can get it out of a scrap machine, and those are the only sources of it. It's of course very rare in the scrap machine. Bauxite also comes out of scrap boxes, but it's also a bit rare. So I just wanted some titanium bees. Impregnable is the species that gives me titanium, just so I can get that going, because I need a lot of titanium and chrome for the fusion reactor. So I'm just kind of working my way toward that. Let's see, is there anything else interesting to show here? Thaumcraft, one of the reasons I haven't done much with Thaumcraft is the bugs in it have been really bothering me, like particularly aura node disappearance. These little structures here encase aura nodes, so the wisps will be stuck, but I can still hit them through these ice walls. But yeah, those stupid things kept disappearing. It was just pissing me off, so I'm not doing much at all with Thaumcraft, just the bare essentials. I think that's pretty much all the interesting stuff down here. Anything I missed? Have my crops here, of course. We already talked about those. I guess I need to tend to them again. Stupid things require so much babysitting. Just mostly crossing netherworts with other things to get all of the plants, which works. It's just a bit slow. Anyway, so right, let's go to the quarry hole and see if there's anything interesting over there, and we can look a bit more at the world here. And while we fly over there, I would like to play the newer Feed the Beast packs. I was looking at the FTB Monster pack, which is Minecraft 1.6, I think. And it looked interesting, but I wanted to finish my business with this one first. That's right, I remember. Okay, the reason that I put a quarry here, this was a 64 by 64, is because I found saltpeter ore on the surface. And from what I heard, saltpeter ore comes from a saltpeter ore spawner, which is a bedrock-looking block that will turn sand into saltpeter ore under some set of circumstances. Now, that was all I knew, and I didn't really do my research before I made this quarry. I figured it would be a something that protrudes off of the bottom of this, but no, it's just one of these bedrock blocks. I have no idea which one. Apparently, you used to be able to pick it up with a gravity gun or a portal gun, but it seems you can't do that anymore. So I just set down this sand. I don't have this chunk loaded, so there's probably no... it hasn't had a chance to turn into saltpeter at all. So I haven't gotten anything out of that yet, but I'm sure I can set up something here to create saltpeter out of that. If I can just figure out maybe which one is the ore spawner. I don't know how to do that, but I'll find a way. Yeah, anyway, I'll figure out some machinery there. Some things I haven't cleaned up yet. I was putting the large quantity things into barrels, stuff that I didn't want. I was just void piping cobblestone and marble and a couple of other really common resources. And I'd come out here after every layer of this had been mined and use a silk touch pick on the high value stuff. So that one took a lot of babysitting. It was really a relief when that quarry was done. So yeah, I don't think there's really much of anything else to show here. This is just, this is my world currently. I'm going to work on moving all my stuff up there, and once it's all moved in, I'll probably record the second half or second part of this video. So I'll see you guys in what'll be a few seconds for me, but probably a few seconds for you, but probably several days for me. So see you in a bit. Alright, I'm back. It's a few days later, and I've been doing some work moving my things up to this floating triangle I have up here. Still a lot to go. It's kind of a slow process. Oops, fell in a hole. So all of this stuff is still intact. Let's go up there and look at what I've done. So one of the first things I did up there, well, after I set up this factorization thing that we already showed, okay, right, I got my magic stuff up here. Not that I'm doing all that much with it, but it's there for the little bit I do with it. Had to plant a bunch of silverwood trees sort of in the sky just chaining them up there so I could get an aura node in range. I have one now. It's not a very strong one. Hopefully these crystals are charging. Yeah, 128. That's not so bad. I'll probably strengthen it with node Bs eventually if I decide to keep doing Thaumcraft stuff. It's still kind of annoying me, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. So one of the first things I wanted to do was to get a good MJ generation setup here. Boiler is the obvious choice, so there are a lot of choices for how to fuel a boiler. I decided to go with a solid fueled one. Basically, what I thought I wanted to do. Yeah, these are my tree chopping turtles. They're like the ones down below. The way they were improved a little bit, and there's 4 of them now. So those are chopping birch trees. There is a yeah, you'll see those saplings are actually disappearing. If I just toss this, it gets picked up. There's an obsidian, actually 4 obsidian transport pipes down below being powered by a redstone energy cell. Because I found you could power... Oh, that's right. I enclosed this thing in concrete. So let's mine in here. There's a reason for that. I'll explain in a moment. This is going to be hard to do. There we go. So yeah, 4... Well, okay, it's still really hard to see. Oh, it picked up my concrete. Alright, so this energy cell here has a conduit running to it. That's powered by the boiler. These 4 obsidian pipes pick up anything that falls onto the ground up above, and then it gets routed to the appropriate place. What does this router do? Okay, that's the sapling router. So any saplings that fall get put into the wooden chests up there. Anything that's not a sapling goes into this overflow chest. Yep, there's my concrete and some birchwood apparently. Let's close this back up. Yeah, so the reason I have a structure built around this is because I was getting these pretty big hiccups in game performance that I determined lined up with when these trees would grow. And it seemed like it had to do with lighting updates. Like, apparently placing a block here causes a lot of lighting updates. Strangely, breaking one isn't so bad, but here, watch this. So I place this block. Yeah, that just hung there for quite a while. I think it's updating all the air blocks below, letting them know they don't have any skylight or something like that. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that trees growing here wouldn't update skylight down below. So I think I've done that. I haven't noticed any of those performance problems after I did that. But, okay, so I did all this tree chopping turtle stuff and wanted to feed planks and the little bit of charcoal I'd get into the boiler from a sawmill. And I tried that for a while and was really having trouble keeping up with demand. I'd sit here and bone meal these for a little while and try to get enough trees just to keep this thing going. Yeah, heating up a boiler is a pretty dicey process. It's kind of fun, but yeah, I basically fed almost everything I had burnable into this to get it up to reasonable heat level. But the turtles just weren't doing the job for me. So instead, I decided to try this Mindfactor Reloaded harvester. And it is awesome. I really like it. So we have a bunch of oak trees here. There's a planter down below that plants saplings. And the harvester chops down the leaves and the logs and puts them into this chest. Let me, I have it set to shut itself off if the chest gets full. Let's just pull out a whole bunch of saplings here so we can see it do its work. So a bunch of big trees have grown. Just chopping down the leaves first. And the wood. I don't know quite how this thing works. It seems to work in sections in some way, because it's not touching that stuff until it gets down there to the level of the saplings, but then it doesn't touch these, and it goes off and does something else. It's a little weird. But anyway, so yeah, that's chopping all that stuff down, putting them into the chest. Now I have a complicated router network sort of thing down here. There's furnaces, yeah, furnace pipes go to routers here that move things around as appropriate. A sawmill here that's making planks and sawdust out of the logs, and a powered furnace here that turns the sawdust into charcoal. And then all of that gets fed into... I actually discovered that there's a cool feature of boilers I didn't know before. So if I put a chest next to a solid fueled boiler, it'll just pull right out of it. I don't have to do any piping or anything. It just takes what it needs for fuel. So this copper chest right here, there's a reason it's a copper chest, I'll explain in a moment, contains planks and charcoal. Eventually this is actually going to fill all the way up with charcoal because this is burning through the planks, but it's self-balancing. If it ever runs out of planks, it'll start pulling in charcoal, which burns for longer, so that the planks can catch up again. But this is kept up very well. These are upgraded slightly. Yeah, tin upgrade, radius +3. Just have this torch in here so I can keep this adequately lit. So yeah, that's my source of MJ power, and that's giving me more than I need for much of anything. I feel like it was nighttime last time I was recording this, so I'll take a nap in a moment. So I'm trying to make some use of it by processing bee products and making scented paneling. So over here, I have a few alvearies set up with industrious, imperial, and cultivated bees, because I want beeswax and honey and pollen and royal jelly, so I can build more alvearies. I'll move my impregnable bees up here next, and I'm working on getting some that'll get me ruby dust so I can get chrome. So yeah, it seems like bees are going to have to be the source of my materials, my fusion reactor materials. Probably not going to use them for too much beyond that, but that's the plan. So let me take a nap so that this rain stops and the sun comes up. Kind of finished up with crops. I got red wheat. That is a very, very annoying plant. I didn't know entirely how it worked. So we know about Aurelia and Ferro. As you can see, we have a whole lot of those planted. I was crossing them to try to get red wheat to see if that would happen faster than with just netherwort. It did the job. So those need ores below them. I tried to put a redstone ore down here under this one red wheat plant I had that I had accidentally picked, which was in this spot. It's gone now, but I picked it and then it just never ever grew back. And I didn't know what was up with it, but I did a search, and apparently red wheat requires a light level of between 5 and 10 to be able to grow, which is weird. But anyway, I have 2 seed bags of it now. It also doesn't seem to want to cross with anything else. I had one growing here and tried to do lots of crossbreeds, and it just wouldn't spread. So it's a finicky sort of plant. But I have it now, so I can do my experiments as I wanted to. I'm flying over in the direction of the quarry now because I did actually locate the saltpeter ore spawner. First I tried to open this world save with NBT Explorer and find it that way, but it seems that blocks in the ground don't actually show up in NBT data anywhere, so I had no way to search for it. So after I did that, I went into this. I made a copy of this world in creative mode and went to this location, dug up all the surface sand, observed where the saltpeter was and sort of averaged the positions of it. Then dug down to that spot, used the pick block button until I found one that wasn't bedrock and was instead a saltpeter ore spawner. So I've stuck these spot loaders here. Right, I have it labeled. It's this block right here. I don't think I can actually pick it up. Let's give it a try, though. Nope, doesn't let me. Supposedly that used to work, but I guess they fixed it. So I've put a bunch of sand here. I'm not entirely sure about the spawning conditions of the ore. This might be too low down. There might be too many open air blocks in it. It said something about there not being too many air blocks around, so I might need a more solid thing of sand. It looks like we haven't gotten any. I just laid it out like this so I could see all the spaces. So I don't know. We don't have a way to generate saltpeter yet, but we're getting closer. We know where the spawner is and can kind of control it, just can't move it around. So, I'm just going to continue working on the floating triangle base up there. One of the very next things I want to do is get good EU power going. Like I said, I want wood to sort of be the basis of power for most of my things, so I'll have to figure out the most efficient way to generate EU from logs, whether that's just burning them in a generator or maybe running a boiler with steam turbines on it, or running a boiler that powers a lava fabricator and then using a thermal generator. There are a lot of options, but I'll figure out a good one. And once I can get enough iridium, I'll just go ahead and build some nice solar panels and get lots of power that way. Dragon Egg Energy Siphon would be nice too, but I need a beacon for that, and I don't currently have one. I've only gotten one Wither Skeleton Skull in this world ever. But yeah, I think I'm going to call this the end of Season 3, Episode 1. I'll call it Season 3. I expect it to be a very, very short season. Maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes total. Might be a few more than that, but we'll see. Because, yeah, I'll just give you a few updates here and there on our way to the fusion reactor and Galgadorian drill. Then we'll see what those are like to use, because I've been very curious for a while about them. After that, no promises, but I am kind of sort of thinking I'd like to play one of the newer packs. I'm hoping they'll be in a better state by then. I really want one with Galacticraft in it. But apparently, I don't know, none of the current FTB packs seem to include Galacticraft. Maybe I can just add it myself. Or none of the up-to-date ones when I looked. Maybe I just missed it. But anyway, that's what you can maybe expect here. Yeah, all of my previous reservations about playing Feed the Beast and Minecraft in general still apply. But I'll see how this does. Maybe I can do a better job of having this be a series that I want to keep going this time. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.